By God's grace and all things considered, our aim is to gather together again in person on Sunday, the 19th of July. This will coincide with the launch of Term 3 at Village Church. Firstly, we want to thank all of you who filled out the survey to let us know how you're feeling. We'll provide a thorough update of the results, but for now, we want you to know that it's been a massive help as we make our plans for bringing us together. The overwhelming response from you is that we all want to be with one another again, encouraging each other, worshiping together, sharing our lives together. But as long as there's plenty of space to do so, and we're able to meet in a way that's most loving to our neighbours and wider community, especially those who are more vulnerable during this time. So to that end, here's how we're proposing to get back together again. The morning service, we hope to gather together at F Block in QUT Kelvin Grove. When our state government announced the limits around the size of church gatherings, we had a problem. With restrictions in place, the lecture theatre at N Block, where we usually met, could only hold a maximum of 60 people. We therefore needed to find a larger venue that would help us gather together while remaining in the heart of Kelvin Grove. Therefore, F Block at QUT seemed to be the perfect pick. F Block has always been the ideal for us to meet on a Sunday. It's got plenty of space, it's more inviting and hospitable, it has a larger foyer. The good news is it has a backdoor entry and opens up to the amphitheatre. We have loved using this space for our carols and our 10-year anniversary service. It is also much more accessible for the general public and so much easier to find. It's been a space that we've been praying about and dreaming about using for some time now, and the impact of COVID-19 has in many ways provided an opportunity to make the transition into F Block for the rest of the year. If the restrictions around the 100-person cap is lifted by mid-July, we'll be able to fit up to 128 people into this space. We're excited by the new opportunities that await us there as a church on Sunday morning. For Kids Church, we will be gathering at N Block. And once again, because of social distancing limitations, we will struggle to have adults and kids together, meeting together in the same space in the lecture theatre at F Block. We have therefore decided that while social distancing rules are in place, we will turn N Block into our Kids Church space and run Kids Church there parallel to the Sunday service. We will use the 2 rooms that are adjacent to the main lecture theatre, as well as some space in the F Block area for our kids. Before the service starts, children will be checked into the Kids Church and will stay there for the duration of the service. And after the service, we'll bring the kids back to F Block, where there'll be plenty of room for us to spread out throughout F Block foyer, lecture theatre and amphitheatre to catch up with one another and grab a takeaway coffee from the coffee cart. Although plans can change often and quickly during this time, we thought it's most wise to book these spaces out until the end of the year. Finally, for those who aren't able to make it on Sunday or perhaps need a bit more time to transition into public gatherings, we hope to continue live streaming our morning service as we help ease everyone back into public worship. Now, for the evening service, we are hoping to gather together at St. Paul's in Spring Hill. Now, while F Block is a great option for the morning service, we still needed to find another space for our evening service. Given that F Block is more expensive and used more often by other groups, it's difficult for us to hold 2 services there on the same day. Therefore, we went on the hunt for another space that could hold up to 100 people. And so after approaching St. Paul's in Spring Hill, they kindly agreed to let us use their church building on a Sunday evening for an initial period of 2 months. Now, we appreciate that this might come as a surprise to some of you, and we want to relay to you that we haven't made this decision on a whim. While Kelvingrove is still very much at the heart of Village Church, we do believe that the new location in Spring Hill will give us an opportunity to build on what God has already so graciously provided for us at Village Church. People living in Kelvingrove still have the option of attending church at QUT on Sunday morning or getting a ride with someone to Spring Hill on Sunday night. There's a bus stop also immediately right in front of St. Paul's, and there's also plenty of on-street parking. Having access to a large kitchen in the church hall means that we can have more regular dinners as a community. Not to mention, the large hall and grounds will also provide more time to spend together as a church before and after the service. Spring Hill is also part of a corridor between Kelvingrove and New Farm that is in need of more gospel-centered communities of faith. So over the last few months, God has been so gracious in providing us with more and more people to love and to serve and introduce Jesus to in the neighborhood. During this time, St. Paul's has been the epicenter of our COVID relief grocery box drop, as well as the community hub where 100 people stop in each Thursday night for takeaway meals. We're excited by the new opportunities that await us here as a church as we also gather together there in Spring Hill. Church change is always going to bring with it a bit of growing pains. We'll need to be extra flexible and patient in the early weeks coming back together. We want to ensure you that as a church, we're doing all that we can to bring the presence and power of Christ into whatever space we find ourselves in. So over the next few months, we're keen to work closely with both our congregations, morning and evening, to see how God might want to use us to bring glory to His name in Kelvingrove, Spring Hill, and beyond. We've seen how quickly things can change during this pandemic, and we know that things may look very different in a month's time, but we want to reassure you that we're keeping a close eye on governmental and denominational guidelines which are seeking to advise us on how we are to meet together. However, we also want you to know that on the 19th of July, the day we can finally meet together, we will be doing all that we can to welcome you home.